Good morning, students. This is Mr. Blumenthal, Dean of Students. Today, I will be reviewing the major facets of the Student Handbook to ensure that your school year begins with the knowledge you need in order for you to be successful. If you would like to follow along from your desks, I will be making note of certain page numbers as we go along. Before we begin, I want to inform you that I will not be reviewing every page and every policy in the handbook at this time. Instead, I will only be going over the major themes and important information, but I strongly encourage you to review the handbook in its entirety so you can be aware of the expectations you will be held to this school year. If at any point in the presentation you have a specific question, feel free to ask your teacher or have him or her contact me in the main office or come see me yourself at any time during the school day. Let's begin. The first item on our agenda this morning is academic dishonesty. This section can be found on pages 4 and 5 in your student handbook. The pages you see before you are a direct quote from these two pages. Academic dishonesty is defined as any form of cheating and/or plagiarism. Discipline will occur on two levels, depending on the severity of the act. Level 1 violations will be handled by the teacher. Students caught cheating will receive a 0 on the assignment and will be ineligible for National Honor Society for the next school year. Examples include giving or receiving answers for any type of test, quiz, or assignment without permission, or using an electronic device to receive answers on any type of assignment, test, or quiz. Level 2 violations will be handled through my office. Students found guilty of a Level 2 violation will be suspended or even recommended for expulsion, depending on the severity of the act. Examples include a second Level 1 violation, or copying and pasting internet sources and claiming ownership for them. A second Level 2 violation will result in credit loss for the semester. The dress code guidelines can be found on page 10 of the Student Handbook. Our dress code has existed in its current form since you were in elementary school. In fact, one of our current 6th grade teachers can be seen demonstrating appropriate dress as a student when this dress code was initiated by the school town of Highland. Therefore, students are expected to follow the dress code guidelines as they are written. First, all shirts and tops must have sleeves and must not expose the midriff or undergarments. Apparel must cover the back, chest, shoulders, underarms, and midriff and undergarments at all times. There must be no visible chest or cleavage. Second, all pants, shorts, skirts, and dresses must be worn at the waist and cover your undergarments at all times. All shorts, skirts, and dresses must be to the knee and no shorter. Clothing that is sheer, low-rise, extremely tight, pajama bottoms, or boxer shorts are not to be worn. Third, clothing with objectionable material is also prohibited at school. Items with references to gangs, alcohol, tobacco, drugs, violence, and profanity, religious or ethnic slurs are also prohibited. Ripped, torn, or tattered clothing, especially jeans, are also not permitted. Students may not wear hats or the hoods of their hooded sweatshirts at any time inside the building. The electronic device policy can be found on page 12 of the handbook. This slide is not a direct quote from page 12, but rather an important summary for students. Essentially, students may not use any personal electronic device during school hours without teacher permission for an expressed purpose. Personal electronic devices include cell phones, iPods, or tablet computers. Students may use an e-reader, like a Kindle or a Nook, as long as they are reading. Game playing or social media uses are prohibited. Students may use these devices before and after school, but they should be stowed in their lockers during the school day. Visible headphones are also a violation of the electronic device policy. Finally, by bringing these devices on school grounds, you give the administration the authority to search them to determine ownership if lost, or, if we have reasonable suspicion the device is being used to violate a school rule or break the law. The tardy policy can be found on page 16 of the handbook. Students must report to class on time. Students who fail to do so will be disciplined according to this chart, again found on page 16. Students begin to serve discipline beginning with tardy number 3, and the policy escalates until a student is suspended out of school for 1 day upon the 6th tardy, and finally, students will lose credit upon receiving a 7th tardy. The tardy policy resets at semester. Only absences and tardies reset at semester. No other discipline resets. The truancy policy can be found on page 17 in the student handbook. A student is truant when he or she leaves the building without permission, when he or she remains in the building but refuses to attend class as directed, when he or she is present in an unauthorized part of the school building, or when a student is more than 5 minutes late to class. Students who are habitually truant will have their driving privileges revoked with the Bureau of Motor Vehicles. In my experience, students are most frequently truant at the start of the school day because they fail to provide proper documentation when they are late to school. School begins at 7:45 each morning. If a student arrives to their classroom by 7:50, a student is tardy. However, if a student arrives to school after 7:50 a.m., that student is marked absent to first period. If any student is absent without documentation to any class period, even to first hour, after 2 school days, that student is considered truant. Please bring a note from a parent when you are to be 5 or more minutes late to school. This will avoid costly discipline. Our overall attendance policy has not changed from last year. Students may be absent 5 times per semester before credit loss occurs. Students who are absent more than 5 times in a semester may lose credit if these absences are not followed up with a note from a doctor or other medical professional. The rules for parking at HHS are found on page 15. Students will be issued parking passes next week. When this occurs, you must park in your designated spot for the remainder of the school year, or you will face disciplinary measures. If this continues, students will forfeit your driving privileges for the remaining school year. Finally, attending our 3 school dances is a privilege. If students are suspended out of school more than 1 time, you may not be able to attend homecoming, turnabout, or prom. Highland High School is the first in the region to create a robust Twitter community. Follow @HighlandHighHHS for sports scores, live tweets at major events, big announcements, and get your burning questions answered, all from your smartphone, tablet, or desktop computer. Thank you very much for your attention today, and I sincerely hope that each of you has a successful school year. Have a great day.